Good afternoon. You are watching Rappler Talk. My name is JC Gotinga. And today we are going to talk about a play that's opening this weekend. It's called In the Eyes of the People. It is a political drama adapted from Henrik Ibsen's An Enemy of the People, which is a play from the 1800s. But this time it's adapted to the current situation here in the Philippines. And we are very honored to have with us today Jenny Jamora, who plays the lead role in the Eyes of the People, and Nelsito Gomez, who is the director and the one who adapted the original Henrik Ibsen play into the contemporary story that we're going to be witnessing. Guys, welcome to Rappler.
Thank you so much, JC. Thank you, Rappler. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Nelsito, second time around. Thanks for coming here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please tell us about the story. So, it's a political drama, like I said. What is the premise, Jenny?
It's a political drama. At the same time, it is a family drama as well because all the characters do comprise a family. It revolves around a project in the Visayas, a hot springs, just like in the original play. And my character, Trisha, she's a scientist and she turns out to be a whistleblower for contamination for this spring that's just about to open. And it's contentious because this spring is supposed to be the economic hope for this town.
Yeah.
And her main rival in this, in the tension is her brother because her brother is the mayor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, it's very familiar to us, no? Parang to my mind, well, of course, the town is fictional, diba?
Yes, it's a fictional. Ibsen originally wrote a town, Kirsten Springs. Mm-hmm. So we kind of invented Santa Cristina, the town of Santa Cristina in the Visayas.
Kasi to my mind, it conjures Los Baños, diba? The springs.
Yeah.
Parang ganon.
Yeah,
it's a tourist draw.
Hot springs is such a Filipino thing because of all our volcanic mountains and everything.
Correct.
So I thought, it would be a perfect to transpose the idea to a hot springs and kind of building resorts. And I see Ron Capinding, who plays Mayor Peter Lopez. He says it in the whole the beginning of the play about the things being built around it. It's supposed to feel like Boracay and El Nido, but in a hot spring. So that's why the stakes are really high because this thing is supposed to be such a big economic draw
for the town. And your character discovers a bacterial infection in the water.
Mm-hmm. Yes, just like in the original, there is a contamination of the spring due to some other factors as well around the town.
Yeah.
And it's something unknown, which is also something very familiar to us. I mean, coming from the pandemic, dealing with an organism that's unknown, we have no idea. And even in the play, we have no idea how this bacteria affects people. So my character really is the scientist who wants to proceed with caution, with a lot of facts. Mm-hmm. And that's very contrary to what goes on around her because there's a lot of, it's set in contemporary times. So we're dealing with a lot of social media, the manipulation of that, the manipulation of what goes into the news or how to spin this story, how the story is spun. She butts heads with a lot of those issues.
Yep.
It's very high drama in the sense na si Mayor ay kapatid ni scientist.
Yes. So that's...
Sino ba are you the ate or is he the kuya?
He is the kuya. So that's also, he's the kuya pa. So they have that dynamic as well. Their father is also a political figure. So it's a political family. And they want to do, everybody's motives are good, They want to do their best. But sometimes personal ideals clash.
So there isn't a clear villain, no? Parang wala namang good guy, bad guy talaga. It's just everyone's motivation.
I mean, the original intention of Ibsen, when he wrote An Enemy of the People 100 plus years ago, it was a reaction to another play he opened. It was called Ghosts, and he so scandalized the people watching because that play dealt with incest and even the idea of euthanasia. that people panned it. People just gave it so many bad reviews, and he was so angry that he wrote this other play to kind of castigate everyone who hated his play. And that's it. There's a very famous line called in the original, "The majority is always wrong." That appealed to me very much when I was first adapting this, because I was right out of the 2022 elections, and I was very depressed, as many others were. But as we developed it, and Jenny came in to play the lead character, then Ron, and then we started to cast everybody and read it and develop it, we realized that nowadays there is no clear villain anymore, that everybody's intention is pure. And I thought that made for a more interesting drama. Like, what if Mayor Peter has a point of view? What if the scientist, of course, naturally has the truth on her side, but the way in which she goes about it, is it really the proper way? And then we kind of throw more things into the frying pan. Her daughter is a journalist, so she has obviously her views. Her husband is the boss of a mining company. So that throws so many things into upheaval. So all these points of views that may all come from a pure and genuine place, but they all clash with each other. And I think what a better microcosm to have than a family, because that's really, I think, what connects all of us really as Filipinos. I didn't want this play to just be kind of a mouthpiece from my ideological points of view, but everything is much more complicated because it's through the lens of love, as we've always kind of discussed in rehearsals. That no matter, I keep on reminding them, when we get into these kind of heated conversations, always remember that love is the driving factor, that you're talking to your daughter, your husband, your kuya, because that's what really makes it so complicated.
Wow. I was going to ask you what drew you to the material. It's more than 100 years old, obviously. Yeah. You've already answered it. But yun, I'm just curious, was the Ibsen play something you've known for a while?
Yes.
Or?
It is. I'm a big fan of the Ibsen is actually the father of modern drama, because at the turn of the 19th century, it was him, Chekhov. I adapted a Chekhov play before. They appealed to me for some weird reason. I don't know if I'm just an old soul in general, but those works always appeal to me because a lot of their problems are so existential. It was not a lot of the problems now where it's very personal because of the cell phone. Everything is so introspective. Back then, it was about me and where I stand amidst the world. Like what can I do? What can I offer the world? And so a lot of those things really, really appeal to me. And that's why I tend to bring those ideas into the plays I do.
So talk to us about the process of the adaptation. Like, how long did it take you?
Yeah.
How did you have to study?
Yeah.
What material did you consult?
Yes. So the play is in Norwegian talaga. I don't know how to speak Norwegian, so I found a literal translation online. You can find these things, and it's really word for word a literal translation. Not so much they put it together in a dramatic way. It's just really a word for word. And then I read it, of course, and I read other versions of it. And there have been many, many adaptations of An Enemy of the People in contemporary society as well. And then I just kind of tune into Rappler. I tune into other news organizations and kind of listen to what's going on now with the dynamic of, politics and truth. And again, how social media is, the fact that Meta has totally fired their fact checkers and now anything goes. So I think that ties in so much with what Ibsen originally intended. In his time, it was the truth is there, but his truth is being stifled. Nowadays, I think the truth is out there, but I think it's just so overwhelmed with so other noise that it's so hard to discern what the truth is. So I took all of those things into consideration. Lots and lots of conversations with people like you, teachers, talking about the hope of the generation, the future generation, and what is the path forward. I mean, we do look in our social media, and it's been kind of depressing lately, with not just the many deaths, which have been very, very sad, but just political outlooks, and the leaders that are supposed to be calling the shots are kind of doing it for very selfish reasons. So I just kind of take all of this and kind of absorb it. And I guess the only outlet I really have is writing these plays, because it's how I get to sort out my anxiety and kind of figure out what is the path forward.
How long did it take you?
About 4 years. Yeah.
Adapting this?
Yeah. About
4 years. So it's not 2025. So even before the 2022 elections.
Yeah, it
you
was always in
already
my mind. Yeah, it was already in my mind. And then I got the push because of the 2022 elections.
Right.
And then it totally changed when the actors came in, because that's such a blessing when they get to speak it out loud and put their voices and their bodies and their minds and their blood into it. It totally morphs my perspective. In the first bit at the beginning, I was very angry. I think my anger has dissipated through the years, and I'm more concerned with how do we go about this moving forward.
Can't help but ask, so you've been doing adaptations and they've been successful. They've resonated with the audience.
Yeah.
Hope
so.
you've brought material from more than 100 years ago and made it current and fresh and relatable and relevant, right? Is writing an original play something you have in mind?
Well, I did. It's coming up in the new Virgin Lab Fest season in June.
Oh,
I have an original play.
Congratulations!
So that was very scary because it's like, I'm not leaning into a greater mind like Chekhov or Ibsen. I'm just on my own. Yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, they found their way back into the material I write anyway. So
we'd love to hear about that and see it when it's out.
It's gonna be fun.
Congratulations. Okay, tell us about rehearsals. What's it like? Also in casting, diba? Because, what are your considerations in casting? Jenny, did you right away say yes to the show? Did he ask you? Did he make you audition? How did this come together?
Well, he's always said that I'm the only one you thought of for this role.
That's true.
Wow, very flattered. I was actually Nelsito's acting teacher at one point in our lives. Yes.
This is so funny. The first time I ever uttered any piece of Shakespeare is because of Jenny's class. Yeah. And she turned me into a monster, and I am who I am because of her.
A Shakespearean nerd monster.
Yep.
I mean, even more than me. I mean, like, just an iota compared to this guy.
So what's it like being directed by him now?
Oh my gosh.
He's fantastic. He's a fantastic director. He's very detailed, and he's very assertive because are we all older? No. There are some younger people in the cast.
Yeah.
We have Jam Binay playing my daughter, Zode Ocampo playing the editor of the publication.
We have this fictional journalist group, kind of like Rappler. It's called The People's Voice.
Yeah, but there are a few older ones, so myself included. And then Ron Capinding plays Mayor Peter, my brother, and Katsuki Flores is
Ruby Gampon. She is running against Peter, so that's another foil into the whole...
because it's election time.
It's election season.
I know.
It's set now, actually, so it really is election season. And then Nor Domingo plays your husband.
Yes. So, but even with that, it's like you're very fair. You're just like Trisha. You're just very fair with everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
And if something has to be addressed, then you address it head on. I just compare, because my point of comparison is myself. As a director, I'm very, I tend to be very reverential. But I'm not saying that you're not, but you're, aptly assertive. Because we need it.
I love this.
It's a bit too fun sometimes in rehearsal. How is that? Go ahead, Jay.
I'm just thrilled seeing two directors/actors talking about their processes.
I have this weird thing. I mean, because I cast them because I'm such ridiculous fans of who they are. Ron Capinding was making his Makati acting debut because he's mostly an Ateneo and QC. And he decided to take the whole C5 trip just for this. So I'm very honored. I must confess, when I watch them, and I still get starstruck. I mean, they're still amazing. But I have to put that little part of my brain away and be like, that's good, but we can make it better. And you can still do it with respect and reverence.
Absolutely.
But of course, I'm still such big fans of these people, and I still have to kick myself at the end of the day. Na parang, wow, I'm directing so and so and so.
You can't be fawning or...
I can't be fawning, but I'm also very, very. I recognize the privilege that I'm in. That these people get to say yes to something that is, completely. It's a new work. We don't know how it's going to read with the audience, but you have people like Katsuki Flores coming in and saying yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sign on to this. I'm ridiculously privileged and humbled.
Your role was originally written as a man. Jenny's role. Dr. Trisha It's originally Dr. Thomas.
Yeah, Dr. Thomas.
Right?
That's a play on the T.
So,
Yeah.
interesting. So tell us about that. Why the decision to make the scientist she's the active ingredient in the
Yes.
story, right?
Yes.
So why is she the choice of her being a woman? And I'm gonna ask you later, Jenny.
Yeah.
How what do you put into it that you're taking on a role that was originally written as a man, but you're now bringing your supply into it?
Yeah. I just have this thing where I don't know where I do know where it comes from now. Growing up, all the protagonists in my life have been women. I grew up with a single mom, and every time I'd go to family gatherings, the women run the show. They are the heroes. And I kind of made it like this silent vow that I would, as much as possible, showcase women protagonists. And I enjoy going back into these works that are usually male-heavy because of the time, and to transform them into female parts. I did that with Missy Maramara in Uncle Jane, and then I did it again with Jenny here. It's just a weird goal of mine.
No, I don't think it's weird. I think it's worthy.
I'm also very conscious that I am a man, and I don't want to go into the whole conversation of women problems. So I don't stop consulting the women around me, and if I'm representing them in the right light and the right way.
I mean, to your point, this is a newsroom run by women. Our 4 founders
Are women.
and bosses are women.
Yeah.
So, Jenny.
Well, suffice to say that I'm inspired by, of course, the 2022 elections. I was quite active in rooting for Lenny. And in the past administration, and still currently, for me, I'm attracted to this role because it reflects still what goes on in our own society, where we have had female presidents, but I don't know. We're a very matriarchal society, right? We love our mothers. Our lives are centered on the women in our family. Sometimes they are running the show, but suddenly, when you come to the very end, when it's time to vote, when it's time to make decisions, sometimes the very deeply ingrained patriarchal societies just overrules again the female voices. And we saw that in the past elections. We saw that in our previous administration and how the women were spoken of. And so I was very interested to portray this role. Lead roles for women are also quite few and far between. So I'm glad, Nell, that you wrote this very strong female character. And we bring that in also. We bring that into the narrative as well. I have interactions with the female candidate in the story. And we actually do address that head on, what it's like to try to get your point across in a very contentious issue. It's political, it's economic, and I'm going up against a political figure as well, and how that plays out being a female versus a male voice.
And I imagine that's original. Like that unit wasn't in the original Ibsen play.
Yeah, that's an original concoction
Because of the
mine.
women angle.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where you just absorb a lot of the conversations of today, and I just want to be able to explore it through a piece. It was one of those cool things where, what if this character met this character? What would they talk about? And
wonderful, because as you have said, we are in election season, in the thick of it. And more importantly, I guess, it's a local election. And they say all politics is local.
Yes.
But now the focus is on how, when you look at national politics, diba, there's more scrutiny because the stakes are that high.
Yeah.
But now that the focus is on, it's a local election.
Absolutely.
We, like us in Rappler, we can't watch every race, right?
It's too big.
So in a way, there's a lot more that goes under the radar when you're talking local politics.
Absolutely. But those are the make or breaks, actually.
Exactly, because it's
Starts
closer
there.
to the people, right?
Yep.
And then also this theme of powerful political families divided upon themselves. Like we have Amy Marcos and Bongbong Marcos on opposite sides today, and it just kind of it's a theme that's central
Yeah.
to this story. I want to ask you personally, what is your takeaway from this piece and this is your work, and I don't want to ask you what the audience should take away. That's for them to decide. But you, as the artist, as the creators, what do you take away from this work?
Go ahead, Del.
It's so funny. The thing that kept evolving, even from this, we did this as a stage reading back in January, right? And the thing that kept evolving was exactly that. It's the takeaway. And the takeaway that I wrote 4 years ago is very different from the takeaway now. I am more interested because I think we're just all so divisive. And that's what happens in the story as well. A very loving brother and sister dynamic. You can really see the affection that they have for each other in they're polar opposites from the usual kind of I'm a star kind of mayor, knows how to work a crowd, to a very conservative sister doctor. But the love is very palpable. And then when this unfortunate event happens, their relationship is just absolutely severed, and they have to clash, and they have to be each other's enemy. But amidst all that, I am more interested now in trying to find more of the commonalities than the things that divide us, because I think that is the only way that we can move forward. And I kind of try to address that in the play as well, but I do have a nugget of a way forward. People can disagree or agree with it, that's their prerogative, but that is my idea of how I feel this might be the step moving forward.
Which we so need nowadays.
Yeah.
We are so effing divided.
Yes.
We are so polarized.
Yeah.
Not just between like two poles now, but there are
There's so
several.
many poles.
And it's so chaotic, and there's just so much noise, and
Yes.
many people don't know whom to believe anymore.
Exactly. When we were writing it, my original ending was very, 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 very dire. And I kind of knew it was election season coming up, and I just said, I have a bigger duty to give to share with the audience just something that we can take away and hopefully grow from there, and not a dead end. Dead ends are fine, and I've seen those shows work really well when you kind of show how drastic things can be, and it wants to ignite in you to do the opposite. In this case, we try to show something, a way forward.
Nice. Jenny.
Let's see. That's a really tough question. A good one, though. I still would like to bring along always my sense of idealism. I also see it in my nieces and nephews, how they are so idealistic. My niece in particular, she's 22 years old, very young, and she's an activist. I'm so proud of her, and and she goes out on the streets, and I take inspiration from that, and I want to continue to be like that. It's difficult in our climate. It's difficult at our age as we also get older.
Yeah. You get tired.
Yeah, it's tiring. It's really tiring. And when it seems to be just going in a
cyclical, my God.
Yeah, in a vicious circle. You wanna just sometimes just leave it to the young ones na. But if we can't ourselves still go out on the streets, then we continue to support the young ones who can go out for us, and really not to water down the belief that there is absolute truth. There is a way to still be empathetic with everybody. No matter how opposite you are, on opposite sides of the issue you are. I think there really is a way. There are strategies to do that. I think we need to listen to each other more. And we need to ask each other questions as well. If somebody expresses opinions that are offensive, that are so opposite yours, ask them questions. Ask them why, so that we can actually bridge relationships.
Yep, I still believe in that.
Yeah, because we are people. We all have wants and needs. at the end of the day. So keep the idealism, but also still listen a lot and ask a lot as well.
That's wonderful because I guess that's the great tension of the story, and I guess also of our society today, does idealism still survive? Given all the realities, diba?
Yeah.
And the play pits those two ends against each other. That a scientist, a doctor who has clear-cut facts.
Exactly, very black and
As
white.
opposed to the practicality of an
Of a
entire
mere-
town
yep.
having their, pin their hopes on this,
Exactly.
on this like potentially
Exactly.
economic boom, right?
Yeah.
And it's what we face, di ba?
Yeah,
Parang it's always, and as artists, I'm sure you face this na, why go for the arts? Why push for these things when you can be making more money here or be more influential there?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's something that you're putting at
Yeah.
like putting stage center.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it helps. Even if there's no clear answer forward, it's good to have these questions in your head, especially going into an election season. I hope that people who watch a show, which is the demographic of Cast, and so this is very much a collaboration between Cast, my company, and Mad Child Productions. They are another fringe group like us, but more on the QC side. So we decided to kind of come together to do this because the demands of this project is a little bit bigger than what we normally are used to. So we needed all the help. But that is the point. A lot of the audiences that come to our shows are very young. They're still in school or they're in their early 20s, all young voter age. And I thought, okay, this is the right play for the right time to make them, think about these moral questions. I don't think it's a waste of time to actually be confronted by moral questions and kind of see where you stand amidst it all.
Yeah, we like to think of the theater. I like to think of the theater as a neutral space where we can tackle very political issues.
Yeah.
So hopefully, everybody is welcome, but we also want you to pick a point of view when you watch, and then maybe discuss it afterwards.
That's the fun part.
We have sponsored.
Is there going to be is there talk back after? Is that in the plan, like a talk?
No. But we have drinks and we encourage conversation.
Right.
I'm a little wary lang of talkbacks because I'm not a fan of editorializing right after my piece has been
Correct.
said.
It should speak for itself.
It should speak for itself. But of course, those pocket conversations are great.
It's in Poblacion, di ba?
It is in
They're
Poblacion.
just drinking and coffee.
Yeah,
It's
everywhere.
It's conducive to
Yeah.
hanging out.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, before I let you go, we have a few pitches. Number one is Rappler's pitch. We have an app. It's called the Rappler Communities app. And besides getting all our coverage from there, we have chat channels dedicated to, subject matters that are relevant to Filipino life. And one of them is the pop culture channel. So that's where you can ask questions, where to get tickets, or any reaction to this. Do download the app, go to the pop culture channel, and we'd love to have you there. And please tell our viewers how, where, when they can catch In the Eyes of the People.
Yes, so In the Eyes of the People will run for 6 performances. It is in the Mirror Theater Studio. It is the 5th floor of the SJG building. It's along Kalayaan in Poblacion. It's a lot of fun. If you want to go there early and have coffee or have a drink, it's a conducive to culture. We're going to run from April 26, April 27, May 3, and May 4. And you can just follow us on our socials. You can follow us on Instagram, cast_PH, and MadChildProds. You can see the QR there and you can grab tickets. So please come.
Yeah, wonderful kasi I've been to that venue and it's great. It's intimate. So
Yeah, several times.
I mean, you're not far. It's not a proscenium. So you're really in the middle of the acting, the presentation. You feel part of it.
And this one is we have a capacity of 80 only per night. So we talk about intimate. It's
Wonderful.
very, very, very small.
And last time I checked, tickets are going fast. So do already get in touch with Cast PH and Mad Child and get your tickets to In the Eyes of the People. Jenny Jamora, Nelsito Gomez, thank you very much for coming to Rappler today.
Thank you.
Break a leg
Thank you.
and see you at one of the performances.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
See you
you
at
so
the theater.
Thank you. So this has been Rappler Talk. See you again next time. Bye. Thank you.